In this video, I am going to show you how to create a stunning WordPress site. No coding and no technical skills needed. Whether you are starting a blog, setting up a portfolio, or launching a business site, I have got you covered. We will kick things off by grabbing a domain name and setting up hosting in just a few steps. Then, we will dive into setting up WordPress so you can get your site live in no time. Next, I will walk you through using the drag and drop editor to create beautiful headers, footers, sliders, and blog posts easily. You will also learn how to craft engaging blog posts and set up an email sign-up form to grow your audience. By the end of this video, you will have a fully functional WordPress site that looks amazing and works perfectly. So let's get started building your online presence the easy way. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a tutorial. Let's get started. To get started to create a website, you need to have a domain name and hosting. A domain is a name that your website visitors will feed here in the address bar and be able to access your homepage or website. For instance, if people go to gotechug.com, those people are taken straight to my website or my homepage. This here is the domain name. It can be ending with .com, .net, .org, or whatever extension that you choose. A domain can be made up of your business name, your name, or any other word combinations that you want. In this case, we are going to be getting a domain name from Hostinger. Hostinger also offers hosting. And this means that if you get a domain name, you need to be able to host your website somewhere so that people are able to access this website. And by getting hosting, it means that the files that we are creating today will be able to be hosted anywhere on the internet, so that people who go to your domain name are able to access your website files that are hosted on the internet. To get a domain name and hosting, you are going to go to gotechug.com/hostinger. Make sure that you use the link provided in the description of this video to get your domain and hosting from Hostinger, because I'll be adding some discount coupon right there. Once you are taken here to the Hostinger homepage, you have a couple of options to choose on what kind of hosting plans that you want. So in this case, we have these different plans that are provided by Hostinger. But the major thing here to look at in these plans is the website visitors that you expect monthly. So here you should expect to get about 25,000 website visitors monthly, and here it should be approximately 100,000 website visits monthly. And if we look at the cloud website option, you have up to 300 websites and up to 200,000 visitors monthly. But we will not be using the cloud setup. What I recommend is the premium setup, where you will be saving up to 75% and up to 3 months free if you get this package. So to proceed, I'll say choose plan. This will take you to a sign up page which looks like this over here. And for a period of 48 months, we will be able to save over $400, plus a free domain name and 3 free months. Down here, enter in your billing details and address and everything. Choose your preferred payment option, either Alipay, Google Pay, PayPal, or credit card. Add your credit card details here and then submit a secure payment. That way, we will be able to get a hosting package where we will be storing our website files. Now let's go into the dashboard of Hostinger. Once you log into your Hostinger account, you'll have a familiar dashboard like this. And what we are interested in is the website option. And here we can simply say add a website, and we want to add a WordPress website. Right over here, we will have to select in which language our website will be, whether English, United States, or any other languages that are here in the options. For my case, I'll choose it to be English, United Kingdom. And below here is the administrator email and password. You should note these details somewhere else because we will need them in the process of making this video or even in designing your website. I'll say next. You are provided with these options to choose what kind of website you'll be creating, but in our case, we don't need to choose anything. So I'll just say create a blank site. And right over here, I am asked to choose a domain name. I already have a domain in my hosting account. In my case, if I type in, for example, Cape and Stone, here it will show me the options that are available for that specific domain, and then I can proceed. However, if you're undecided to pick a domain name at the moment, you can choose to use a temporary domain. And when the time comes when you are ready and done building your website, you can go ahead and claim your free domain from Hostinger. In my case, I'm going to choose my already owned domain, which is ZipWP tutorial, and I'll say next. I'll choose a data center or a place that is nearer to where my website visitors are located. For instance, if you are based in the United States and you are selling to people who are based in the United States, it's best that you choose a server that is located in the United States. At the moment, since my website is going to be selling to people in the UK, then I'll choose a server that is located in the European region or in the UK if it's available. So I'll select in the drop down over here and look up for the nearest location to the UK. So it seems like they have a server in the United Kingdom, and I'll select that option. After selecting that option, I'll click next, and this will start installing WordPress immediately on the server. Back into our dashboard, it looks like WordPress has been installed on our website. So when you look over right here, this is the dashboard of the domain that I selected, and also the access to the WordPress admin panel. When I click here, it should redirect me to my WordPress installation. This is the dashboard of WordPress, and I can do so many other things. But before I go into that, let's first go back here to Hostinger, and I want to show you one more thing. If you decide to get a domain, you can come over here to domains, and you can choose to get a new domain name, add your desired name, and search for if any of that name exists. Alternatively, you can use their AI generator to describe the kind of business that you do or project, and it will suggest for you domain names. So for instance, here is a description of the kind of business that I'm going to create a website for and what they do and where they are located. So if I say generate domain name using their AI, it suggests for me here some AI generated domain names that I can buy. I can see more options. However, if you are sure of the kind of domain that you want, you can simply enter here the domain name. Let me say Cape and Stone. I search. You see that this domain name is available. And if you like this kind of domain name, you can go ahead and claim it or choose other domain options that are being provided right over here. Now, when we go back here to our menu, we have the option called emails. And here we can create business emails that we can use based on our domain name. For example, your name at yourdomainname.com or your first name at yourdomainname.com. So you can go ahead and create those right over here. So in this video, we are going to focus specifically on how we can get started building our website on WordPress, since now we have already installed WordPress on our Hostinger web hosting account. So from here, I'm going to go to my web hosting account. I'll say manage. And when I click over here, I'll have access to my WordPress admin dashboard, which is right over here. But in a case, if you started without having a domain name and you use a temporary domain, you can come over right over here and say add a website and say create a new website and then say continue. I'll choose WordPress from the option here. I'll say next. I'll say next, say create a blank site. And then if I say choose a temporary domain name, boom, I'll get my WordPress installed on a temporary domain, and I'll be able to start building my website using a temporary domain from Hostinger. Here is our temporary domain that has WordPress installed. So if I click on this arrow here, it opens up in a new tab and you see that I have WordPress installed on my temporary domain. So in this case, if I want to go to the WordPress admin, I can simply click over here. And this will now also take me to the WordPress admin dashboard using my temporary domain that is from Hostinger. Now, if you are done and you are happy with what you created on your temporary domain, you can simply say connect a domain name from right over here, and then you can enter your design domain name and claim it from Hostinger, just like I've shown you before. I'll come back over here and select my website where I have WordPress installed and where I have connected my domain name. So it's now selected. And by clicking over here, I'll be able to go to the WordPress admin panel. Now I have access to my WordPress admin dashboard. And when I go to the front end of the website, this is how it looks like. I'm going to hover over my domain and go straight to the dashboard. And inside the dashboard, I can choose to install a different theme. I can install plugins which enable me to extend my website and add more functionality. I can make changes to the site name and everything right by point and clicking. Let's start with the appearance themes. And we're going to install a theme, the WordPress Astra theme, which is right over here, which is one of the most popular WordPress themes. And if I say install and then activate, I'll now open my website in a new tab. And you see that now we have a different look and feel of our website. We can as well go and look into the plugins area. When I go to plugins, install plugins, here I have a list of different plugins that have been installed on my WordPress website. You can see that I have the Hostinger Easy Onboarding plugin, Hostinger Tools plugin, and Lightspeed Cache plugin, which are installed on my WordPress website by default from Hostinger. When I go to settings, general settings, right over here, I can make changes to my website title, tagline, site icon, and site language, time zone, and time format. And then lastly, we can look into the pages. Right over here, we have pages, all pages, and you see we have a default page called a privacy policy page. But let me show you how to create a page real quick in WordPress. I'll click on add a new page. I'll give this page a name called home. I'll publish the page. Now I'll preview the page. You see it's an empty page. Nothing appears on this page. But we can start designing using WordPress. And this has been the way how everyone has been building WordPress websites, by adding blocks, adding images, and everything. So by coming over here, I'll try to insert a row. And in this row, I can add several things. For example, I can add a heading. And as well, I can add images. So for example, add image or a gallery or text and images. So let me say add an image. I can upload an image from the media library. I'll assume this is the image. And you see there I have a paragraph and I have an image. I can come over here to the navigator and you see I have a row and I can choose how my content appears in this row. So for instance, let me move this image into row itself, which is what you see now. And I can choose to say, let this be stacked, let this be in a row format. I can choose to center all the items, left or right align the items. I can choose to have the items have space in between all of them and all that stuff. For instance, if I add a cover block, I can upload an image. I can add my title to the cover block and I can choose the overlay color as a color that I want. You see something like this. This is the default. I can even have it darker and change the opacity of that color. And basically that's how you can go ahead editing and adding content to your pages. So if now I update, I will open this page in a new tab, just like this. You see that we have the first heading widget, we have the image, and we have a cover block right over here. But this is a bit of a tedious process and it requires you some level of knowledge on how to build websites on WordPress. And of course, it takes a long time. In this video, I'm going to be showing you an easy way to build websites on WordPress by simply entering a prompt into an AI tool, and you're able to generate all the pages, all the content, and the text in just one go. And to do that, we are going to close this page. So this is what we have created. This is how it was looking before. And in a new tab, you are going to enter this URL, gotechug.com/ZipWP. Make sure that you use the link that I've added in the description of this video, because I'll be adding special discounts for people who access ZipWP using the link added in the description of this video. Right over here to the ZipWP homepage, after using the link that I provided, you will be able to create a website using an AI builder, and this is going to be a WordPress website in just under 60 seconds. You can create different websites, from personal branding websites, service websites, and name it all. You can start using ZipWP for free, but you will be limited by how many sites you'll be able to create and certain features in the ZipWP account or plan. At the moment, I have the business plan, and with this business plan, I'm able to create 20 staging sites, which are kind of permanent, and also I have 20 GB space, and I can create 10 AI websites per day. This plan does wonders and gives you a lot more flexibility and freedom. I'll go back to my dashboard and I come over here to say create a new complete website. I'll enter the website name. Under this website is for option. You can choose from the different kind of niches that are provided here. And then I'll choose the language. This is very important because it detects which language your website will be generated in. Mine will be in English UK because the website I'm going to generate is for a company that is based in the UK. And here I'll describe in a few words what my business does. So in this case, Cape and Stone Tax Advisors Limited, based in London, is your go-to agency for expert tax advice and financial planning in the UK. They specialize in personalized services for individuals, businesses, and expatriates. So you can go on and try to describe as much as you can your business to this AI. Once you are done, you can actually use AI to improve your description. So if I say improve using AI, you see that they have written a whole new context of my website that tries to explain what my website does. I'll just use what I had earlier and say continue. This will take me to a next page where I have to select an email address, a phone number, and a physical address where my business is located. After adding my address, I can choose to add different social media platforms. For example, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, just like that. So if you don't have any, just leave that option blank and say continue. And right over here, you are presented with different couple of images from a stock photo site called pixels.com, which are copyright free. So you can use these images without any problems. So I'll select the images that I would like to use on my website. So for instance, I'll just randomly select any of these images. And of course, you can go ahead and choose the orientation, for example, here, landscape. And if you want to choose another keyword, you can click over here, or you can type that keyword right over here. So I'll select financial planning, and here they will give me a whole lot of different other images that I can select from. And just like you can see over here, I have more other images to select from here on ZipWP platform. So once I am done with selecting images, I can say continue. And as you can see here, ZipWP will present you a couple of layouts and designs that you can choose from. And from the last check that I did, they have over 50 layouts or complete websites that you can use to import and build your website from ZipWP. So I'm going to go back up here, and I already have one that I want to use. And for example, if I click on this information icon, you see that this website includes a home page, about page, services page, a blog page, a contact page, and Spectra. Spectra is the builder or the page builder that helps this AI to build the pages. It's a WordPress page builder and one of the most popular page builders on WordPress at the moment. So I'll just select this option, and ZipWP will take me to a screen that looks just like this, and it gives you a preview of what your website would look like. And if you are happy with this, you can just continue and upload, for example, a site logo, but we will be doing this later on in this video. You can choose a font pairing or what kind of font type you want to use for your website. And obviously you can choose a color palette or even create your own custom one. And I'll just say continue. And here is where it shows you a couple of more features that you can choose to add on your website. You want to add donations, a free live chat option, automation and integrations and video players. I don't want to select anything here. I'll just say start building. ZipWP will bring me this screen that summarizes everything that I entered to make sure that everything is fine. So this is a description that we entered, and this is the domain name, and this is the email that we added, the phone number and the addresses. So if everything looks okay, I can say start building. ZipWP will start generating my website, and normally it does this in under 60 seconds. Boom! We have our website generated by ZipWP. Now let's go and have a look at what ZipWP has created. By clicking on this icon or say view website, that will straight take you to a page that looks like this. This is our generated website using the ZipWP AI builder. So it has this beautiful hero section. It has the different services, just like we mentioned in our description, and a story about the firm or the company, their promise, the employees that work at the company, and some testimonials right over here. When you move to the other pages, or for example, I go to the About page, there is this hero section at the top where the transparent header is seated. And here they go ahead and try to tell you about the company. Imagine this is all done, designed and built using the ZipWP AI builder in just under a minute. Let's go to the services. They mention personal tax, corporate tax, inheritance tax, and just like we mentioned the services in our description. Under the blog, they list some blog posts that have been also generated with the ZipWP AI builder. And here is one of the blog posts. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can also get started building and creating blog posts on your WordPress website. Under the contact page, we have the contact form. You see the addresses and email that we added right in the ZipWP builder. Now, when we go back here to our ZipWP dashboard, we are going to close this screen. And when you come over here under staging sites, you will see your new staging site listed here. So this is the site, Cape and Stone Tax Advisors Limited. And here it will show the time to expire. If you have a pro business account, you can make this website permanent. And if you want to go into the dashboard of your WordPress website from right here in the ZipWP dashboard, you click over here on the WordPress icon. This will take you in the new tab, and automatically you are taken into your WordPress admin area. You can see we have the Astra theme installed, and under plugins, you can see that we have the Spectra page builder installed as well. Under pages, you see that we have the About, Blog, Contact, Home, and Services page created with ZipWP. Now, since we have this website on ZipWP and ZipWP is not a hosting service, it's better that you migrate this website to your hosting company, which is Hostinger at the moment. What I'm going to do is come here to my dashboard of the website that was generated. This website, Cape and Stone Tax Advisors, that was generated by ZipWP. Inside the dashboard, I'm going to go to plugins and I'll add a new plugin. I'm going to add a plugin called WPvivid. WPvivid is one of the best migration and backup plugins for WordPress. It's free, and I'll install this plugin. I'll activate the plugin, and I'll straight go to the backup option to back up my ZipWP website so that I'm able to migrate it to Hostinger. My website has been backed up and the backup version is right below here. I'm going to click on download and download the backup. Right now the website has been downloaded. I'm going to close this ZipWP website right over here, and ZipWP is also not needed at the moment because we only used it to generate our website, and we are going to make all the other changes on the website after that website is hosted on our Hostinger account. So I'll close off also ZipWP at the moment. And here we go back to the dashboard of our website that is hosted on Hostinger. If you don't know how to access that website, once again, you are going to go back to your Hostinger account, make sure that you log in, and straight to go to websites, and you see your website is right over here. So when you say dashboard, it takes you to the Hostinger dashboard of that website, and here I can say admin panel, and right over here it will redirect me to the WordPress admin dashboard. Alternatively, you can go to that website name if you have already chosen a domain name and say /wp-admin. Once you are here at the dashboard of your website that is hosted on Hostinger, you're going to come to plugins, and under installed plugins, we're going to say add a new plugin. And here we're going to also install WPvivid. And after installing, make sure that you activate that plugin. And we're going to come down below here under the upload option. And we're going to upload the backup that we downloaded from ZipWP website. Here is the backup that I downloaded. I'll say upload. And you see here the backup is being uploaded on my website that is hosted on Hostinger. Once the upload has completed, you'll get this kind of notification. Click OK. And there is an option here called Restore. Under the backups option, say Restore, and then finally click on the Restore button and make sure that you don't close this window, because if you close that window or go to another tab, it may interrupt the upload of the backup and the restoration process. The restoration has completed successfully. Click OK, and this will log you out of your WordPress website, which is hosted on Hostinger. And here it will require you to enter a username or email and password for that website. So this is what you have to do. You're going to go back to your ZipWP dashboard. Inside your ZipWP dashboard, under the staging sites option, look for that website that you generated with ZipWP. Come over here to actions, select your login credentials, and then here you are able to copy the username, come to your restored website, paste that username, come back here, copy the password, and come back here and paste that password that you have copied from ZipWP, and then say login. Automatically, you'll be logged in back into the WordPress website that you have restored on your Hostinger account. So when you click over here to the dashboard, this is how it looks like. And when you come over here to themes, you'll see that you have the Astra theme installed. And when you look at the plugins, you have the Spectra plugin and the WPvivid backup plugin that you had earlier installed on your ZipWP website. Now, when we go and look at the front end, you see that we have our website just as it looked like when it was on the ZipWP builder. I can even navigate to other pages, services, blog, and contact. For now, I'll say congratulations on using ZipWP to generate your first AI WordPress website that we have now hosted on our Hostinger account, and we are ready to make changes to this website to give it the look and feel of how we want it to be. Now that we have our website exported from ZipWP and imported onto our Hostinger web hosting account, let's look into the first things that you should do to start setting up your website correctly. So here in the dashboard, this is the dashboard of your WordPress website. And for now, we are going to go straight to Appearance, Customize. Inside the customizer, you can make several changes on your WordPress website, from the global, colors, typography, to the header, the footer, site identity, and a lot. Let's start with the global settings. Under typography, just like I showed you in ZipWP, you can choose a font family and a font face on how you want your website to look like at the end of the day. You can go ahead and set a custom font style or font type for your body font or headings font. The font inherits throughout the whole other parts of your website, even when you navigate to other pages. When we come here to the colors, you can choose a different color theme or palette for your website. When you look over here, you see there are several other color palettes that you can select from. For instance, if I want to use the blue color palette, you see that everything has now changed to this blue color. Same if I, for instance, come and choose this color palette, you see that now everything has changed to this color. I'll go back and choose my blue color palette, which is the one that I want to use. And you see that everything has changed. However, you still have the option to make changes to specific sections of your website, like the accent colors, the link on hover and normal colors, the headings, body text, and borders. Now, when we go and look into the containers, we can choose a container layout for our website, but I will leave everything here on the default settings. We can make changes to how our buttons look like. Instead of them being boxed, we can choose them to be rounded. I'll leave everything here on the default settings. And we have the scroll to top option. This here is this button here. So you can choose how and where it appears. Now it's on the left-hand side, but I can switch it back to the right-hand side just like that. You can choose the size by increasing or decreasing the size of the icon. I'll leave it at 15 pixels. Under design, you can change its color, but I'll leave it on the default settings. And now I'll go back, and now I want to go to the header builder. But before I go there, let me publish my changes. Now let me come here to the header builder, and I can choose from, first of all, different header presets that are provided by the Astra theme. When I click on the pencil, you see that there are different header designs here. By clicking on the last one, you see that now our site title has moved to the top and the navigation has moved just below that. But I want to choose this specific layout for the header, which has social media icons, just like you see right over there. For the site title and logo, here we can upload a custom logo for our website or an SVG icon for our website. We can make changes to the site title or name and also the tagline. Remember, the tagline that we added at first was added on the Hostinger installation of WordPress. But since we moved our website that we generated from ZipWP to our Hostinger WordPress website, it means that everything was deleted and replaced by the website that we imported from ZipWP. And here now we will add a new tagline, helping clients navigate tax complexities. Of course, you can go ahead and choose where you want this tagline to appear, whether on all devices or specifically on specific devices. We can choose to add a site icon. I'll be showing you how to do that just in a while. Now we are going to go back here, and you see we have a transparent header option. And just like you can see here on our website, we've had a transparent header. When you go like to the single blog posts, for instance, this one, we don't have a transparent header. And just like here in the settings, you realize that we have the transparent header disabled on posts. This is a post, and we have the transparent header not appearing. However, for other pages, we have the transparent header appearing, like on the About page, the Services page, we have the transparent header. Same for the Contact page. For now, everything looks nice and neat. I'll just go back here and then exit our header builder. Let's look at the other options that are provided under the footer. So to make the changes to your website section here, this is the footer. And just like you can see, we have the copyright and the footer menu. So this is the copyright widget, and then the footer menu, which is pointing to the actual website menu. Of course, you can configure the menus right from here and choose a different menu for your footer. I'll be showing you how to do that just in a while. But now let's go back to our customizer and sway to our footer builder. And you can see that now here in the footer, we can add several widgets. We can add another widget to display any other feature in our footer. And as well, you can change the layout of your footer from just having one column to having multiple columns. You see that now we have 2 columns, but we can say we want 4 columns, and that will make sure that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns of this middle footer. We also have the above footer and the below footer. That's all for our footer settings. In case you want to make any changes to the footer of your WordPress website, you know where to go. In this part of our website creation process, we are going to be creating a logo and a site favicon for our website. So the logo will appear right over here, and the site favicon appears just like this sign here you see on the ZipWP website. So it's an icon that appears in the browser tab. We are going to be using only the free option to create our logo, and there is a website called photop.com. On this website, it is kind of mimicking how Photoshop looks like and what you can do with Photoshop, but it's just a free version and on the web, so you don't have to install anything on your computer. I'm going to start off by creating a new project with 500 pixels in the height and 500 pixels in the width. That's all. And from our website, we have Cape and Stone tax advisors, basically C and S. So back to Photop, we are going to select our text tool and make sure that you select the font that you want to use. For my case, it's Outfit. So I'm going to write C. Then I say, okay, the and, which is the and symbol. And then I'm going to create the S, that is Cape and Stone. That's all. So you realize that we have different layers here. Now, when I select the selection tool, you realize that our character or letter gets this transform icons. I'll position it just right there. The same I'm going to do and select our character or letter. Alternatively, you can just click here and select it, and I'm going to drag while pressing my shift key, and I'll position it just right here. Then I'm going to come here, pick or click on the layer for S, also drag and resize it while pressing your shift key. Just to make sure that you have the same size for both characters, you can select them, and here in the size section you can just say or type this font size that you want, like this. And for C as well, 180, and that's it. So I will pick my selection tool and I can drag to select both C and S, or I can even select all of them to position them on the canvas, and I can still further increase their size. I'm going to just position my hand to appear like it's seated, and combining both the C and the S. So by Alt scroll in and out, I am able to zoom in and out of the canvas and make it just sit here perfectly and comfortably on the S. So I am going to change the color for the C and the S. So I'm going to come over here, select that, and come here and choose a white color, clicking and moving this knob to the white section. Select that, say OK. Same for my C. Make sure that you have the selection tool or the text tool, selected, and then you're able to select and change the color for that character. Now you don't see anything because we have a white background, but when I remove the white background to have a transparent background, you see that we have our character or our characters appearing. I can once again select everything and increase their size because I want to have quite a bigger logo. Not really bigger logo, but just for preview purposes. And I can center it on the canvas. And that's all. Now what I'm going to do is to export this newly created logo like you see. Of course, I can change it to different other colors so you can see how beautiful that would look. Okay, the same here. And if I put back the background, that's how it looks like. Alternatively, I would move the S, this character, the and, to be sitting on top of everything like this. That can also work. I can make it be in the background. So depending on how you want it to look like, yeah, for me, that's how I want it to be. Then what I'm going to do now is remove the background and change back the color to white because I want this logo to be in the characters SC and S to be in white. That's okay. Now I'm going to export my logo. So I'm coming here to the file, export as SVG, C and S logo. Save it on my desktop. And the big question here would be that why am I saving this as an SVG logo? Is because SVG stands for Scalable Vector Graphics, and that means that even if the website is viewed on a larger screen or smaller screen, the logo can scale easily without losing any details or getting pixelated. Just because this format is a raster image, that's why you see it is pixelated. But with SVG, it's a scalable vector graphics, and vectors scale to any size without losing their quality. Change now this back to the other blue that we had earlier. This blue, okay. And also change this to the other blue, like this. And I'm going to save this as our site favicon, and the site icon should be 512 by 512 pixels. And I'm going to come here to image, canvas size, and I'll change this to 512 pixels in the height and width, just like this. And that's it. So I'll make sure that everything is centered on the canvas. Save as a PNG, C and S favicon. So I save it as a PNG image, and that's all. Now I'm going to go to my website right over here, and I'm going to first of all add my site icon. I'll come to select files, come to my desktop, C and S favicon.png image. There we go. I can add the title and the alt text. Alt text is the text that screen readers read to help people who are visually impaired, but also for the Google search engine to understand what the image is all about. I'll set it as a site icon, and you see how it appears here. And when I save changes, you see that now we have a site icon right up here. Since we have not updated and reloaded this page here, you see we don't have anything, but now when I reload that, boom, our site icon shows up. Now, when we even go back here to appearance, customize, and we come to our site identity, you see that our site icon shows up, and here we are able to actually even add a site logo. A logo can be a PNG or a JPG image, but I prefer to use an SVG for a reason I have already explained earlier. So I'm going to enable SVG here, and you can choose an SVG icon as your logo from this library, but I'll close that because I have created my own SVG icon. I'll say custom, and here is where I have to upload or add the code of my SVG icon. When you look over here, they tell you on this information sign that when using custom SVG code, do not include few attributes such as width and height and fill in your custom SVG code to utilize existing customizer controls. First of all, get the code of our SVG icon. And I'm going to open my SVG image in the browser. So that's the SVG image that I've opened. The C and S are there, just that they are in white. And what I'm going to do is to come right click and say inspect. So this is the inspector, and this is the code of the SVG. So what I'm going to do is I'll right click and say edit as HTML, select. This is where the SVG starts from here and ends right over here. So you'll copy this code and then come here to your customizer and paste that code. We are going to delete the width and height attributes here. We don't need to make any changes right here. And here we can change the logo width. You see it's a big logo, but the good thing is that we can reduce that to the size that we want. And this is the feature that I love the most, so I'll make it 100 pixels. We can choose to display the site title and everything, but here I'm going to say disable the site title on desktop, disable the site title on tablet and mobile devices. To show you how that looks like, let me switch to the tablet mode. You see that we still have the site title, so I'll disable it from appearing. And if I show you on the mobile device, if I disable that site title visibility, you see that now it has been disabled and hidden. That doesn't mean that the site title is not there, but we have simply hidden it from appearing on the front end of the website. We can go further and reduce the size of the logo on the mobile device. So in this case, I make it 80 pixels. So now we have created and added our custom favicon and our logo to our website. Now what we are going to do is hit publish, and now come here to our website, and then we reload. You realize that now we have a logo for our website. So like I already explained to you that SVG images are scalable, and doesn't matter which size of a device they are viewed in, they still retain their quality. Now, for instance, if I zoom in here, I'm going to show you, you see how that looks like. It is still a crystal clear image without any pixelated or pixels showing here, which is very different from what you saw here in Photopea. And also SVG images are really light. Now that we are done creating our logo and favicon, I'll close over Photopea. We don't need it anymore. In the next section of this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make some improvements on our home page, including adding a slider right over here. To get started, let's exit the customizer, and we are going to go to pages, all pages, and we're going to open up our home page. I'll open that in a new tab. And here is where we are able to make changes to our home page. Like I showed you earlier, you can make changes to the texts, add new sections right over here, add images and all that stuff. But before we go into that, I want to mention that in this editor right here is a Spectra page builder that has been used to create this page. So with Spectra, when I take you back here to the dashboard and I come and click over here to Spectra on the dashboard, Spectra dashboard, you can see a video of what Spectra really does, but here is what happens if you have Spectra. You have a container model that you can use to build sections and have columns and limitless, flex options when you're aligning blocks or widgets in your WordPress website. You have heading widgets, image widgets, block quote widgets, and all these widgets. We are going to be using only the free features that are provided in Spectra to build our entire website. You can as well filter the blocks based on what you want. For example, creative blocks, you can have this duo button, a countdown timer, content. You can have all these, even Google Maps, call to actions, and all that. Spectra is also bundled with some features from AI connected to the ZipWP platform. And with this, it means that you can, generate sections and generate text and add, AI created sections, just like we did with our website. But for now, let's go to the settings. And maybe one thing that you would want to have if you're building your website online is to add like a maintenance mode or even a coming soon mode. So to do that, you can come over here to site visibility and make sure that you enable the coming soon mode or enable the maintenance mode in case you are making some changes to the website. But if you are just building the website and you don't want that your visitors come and they bump into the mess that you are having at the moment, you may want to enable this and create a page for that, and you're good to go. The other options like the container width of how wide your website content will be, like this, so you can make it more wider or more narrower. So you can also set that from right here. Just like you see here, every container is having a content width of 1200 pixels, and that is mimicking what has been set right here. You can inherit from the theme and you can use default container padding. You can add container elements, gap, block, editor spacing, custom CSS option enabled. You can copy styles from one block to another, and a lot more options like you see that have been added right here. Now, when we go back to our page, you can add a couple of pre-built sections or containers from Spectra, the page builder, which are right over here by simply inserting, and add more other features on your pages, including call to action sections. But for now, we are more interested in adding a slider container right over here. To do that, we are going to need a specific and special slider plugin that is going to give us that feature. And we are going to install a new plugin called Slider 3, Smart Slider 3. So install that one, activate, and you will see that we have a new option here on the menu called Smart Slider. Go to the dashboard. I don't want to see this again. I just want to start creating my sliders. I'll say create a new project, and it's going to be a width of 1200 pixels by 800 pixels. And it's going to be a full width slider. So I'll say create. I'll say it's going to be a blank slide. I'll edit that slider. And here I am going to come and say, select the slide here. So I'll add my slide title as Stay Ahead with Cape and Stone. And I'm now going to straight come over here to Style, Slide Background. I'm going to add a slide background image. So this, and select that image. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to close this. And right over here on the side, we have this plus icon. We can click on it and say add a row. So, and the row has two columns. So the first column and the second column. So here in this first column, we are going to select the first column specifically, and we are going to add content to that first column. So to do that, we are going to first of all add a heading in the first column, which is this here. And we will also add a short text or paragraph. And then we are also going to add a button. So this button. In this column, make sure that you select the column itself. We want everything to be aligned to the left. So under style, we're going to add a small gradient. So it will be this transparent, gradient. You see, you can make it darker or lighter. So I just want to make it a little bit lighter. And we can as well add, the padding. So the padding of our text is going to be, let me say 30, so that it's not really on the edge of the column. Now we are going to go to the content. First of all, we add the content to our slider. The first slide content is going to be stay ahead with cape and stone. And the content that is going inside the first description or the text, just very short text. We select the button and then we say start today. And this will have to link somewhere. So here I'm going to add a link to either our contact page or any other page where you want your website visitors to be redirected once they click on that button. So I'll say select the contact page, which is this, and then say insert. Now let's start styling our blocks that have been added here. So this should have a font that is more similar to like how our home font looks like here. So this is like Montserrat. So when I select my heading, I'll come here to font family and I want to look for a font that is more close to that, or that if it does exist, good. Here we have it. And we can choose the font size as well. So here I can make it bigger or make it smaller. So I'll make it a 45 and we reduce the line height to 1.2. Now let's go to our text, which is this below here. We will also give it the same font face. We will make it an 18. And then for the button, we will do the same. Select the font face and we will also make it 18. Make changes to our button color because we want it to match the style of our website. So I'm going to come over here to background color for the button, which is this. Here is the color code, and I will come back here and paste that color code. I'll increase the margin bottom of the paragraph block by just dragging and dropping here. So I'll make it 10, and for the top as well, and make it a 10. Save, preview. Looks much better. So I'll close this, and the quickest way to build the sliders is to make sure that you have set up one or the first slider really well, and then the other slider you just have to replace the text. Back to my slides, and I'm going to duplicate this and I will edit the second one. To save your time, I'm going to speed up the process, create all the other slides, and I'll come back when I'm done with those slides and we continue with setting up our slider. And here I can save changes. And for the second slide, we didn't add a destination for the read our guide button. So I'm going to change that and rename or point to the right resource. In this case, it will be a blog post. This could be the one. And then we are going to say save changes. Now let's go to our home page, which is this here. I will reload the home page. Navigation. We are able to add a new container or block, but in this case, we are going to just look up for slider, which is Smart Slider 3. I'll insert it and automatically it will be taken or placed down here below. I'll say select the slide, and here is the slide that we created, which has 3 sliders, and it's called my project. We can rename this later, but that's how now it looks like. Now I'm going to come back here to the navigator and I'll remove this slider to the top of the page, and I'm now able to say update. Now go to the front page of our website or the home page, and I'm going to reload this, and boom, you see that we have a slider on our home page. It uses the arrows, and you see that the words change based on the slide that you are viewing. We can make it better by adding an overlay color to our slides. So for instance, slide under style, we can add our overlay. You see when we enable the overlay, there it shows up. We can make it a darker overlay by selecting a color here or a different color overlay. So it is one of these. So I'll just select that and save changes. I can now navigate to the other slide. So this is the first slide. I'll come right over here straight and enable overlay. And here is the overlay background color. Save. Go to the other slide as well. Enable overlay and select our overlay color, which is this. And then save changes. Now when we come to our home page, I'm going to reload, and you will realize that we have a different view of these slides by having an overlay. And when someone clicks on any of these buttons, this takes them to the contact page. And when I come back, I can navigate to the next slide, and this will take them to the blog post. And when I come back, navigate to the last slide, this should take them to the services page. That's how we are able to add a slider, but we are also going to add navigation icons right here. So I'm going to come back to Smart Slider. This project called My Project, we can rename that to give it a real name. Cape and Stone Slider. You can go ahead and use a shortcode in case you want to place this slider on another page. You can set the custom sizings of your slider and how everything is going to appear like, the minimum height, the maximum height, and also if it's a full width slider, and also these other controls. But in this case, we want to enable the bullets to appear part of the navigation for the slide. So I'll save changes. Now at the home page, we have a slider made with the Smart Slider 3. Your website visitor can navigate using the bullets or using the arrows, which can also be adjusted from right here. We are almost done with creating our slider for our website, but we need to check on the responsive settings to make sure that this slider looks well on mobile devices. So I'll come over here and open up my slider. And before I really go into the editing, let me show you how this actually looks like on the front end. So here on the home page, that is how our slider looks like at the moment. Someone can navigate through the different slides using either the dots or the arrows. But when they view this slider on the mobile phone, so we have this entire text column moving into the logo of the website. You don't want it to be like that. So what we're going to do is to come back here to our slider. And for all the sliders, you're going to have to apply the same setting. So once you have one of your sliders opened, and you're going to come over here to the device icon and then select the mobile phone. And you see right over here, we can, play around with different settings of the slider. So I'm going to increase the padding right at the top here of the slide. So here I'm going to add a 70% padding by just simply dragging it down. So that. And for the row, we realize that this is too much padding, especially if someone is viewing this on a mobile phone. We're going to select this column, and you see it's having equal padding, top, bottom, left, and right. So I'm going to come over here to the style, and you see we have this padding, which is applied all over, just like you can see right over here, 30 and a 30, 30 left, and then 30 bottom. Let's make it a 10. And now you can see that now it is a 10, and a 10. And now I'll save changes. I'm going to reload this website, and you realize that on the desktop nothing has changed. That is good. But now let's go and view this on a mobile device. Here we go. You'll see that our padding looks really good. You can proceed and make similar changes for the tablet, and also make sure that everything works just as you want it to be. In the next part of our video, we are going to be making some changes to our homepage. We don't need this second hero section, which was the first one before we added our slider. We want to make that we remove these icons on the employees that work with Cape and Stone advisory, and also we want to change the layout for our testimonials, as well as we would like to make some changes to make sure that instead of this call to action redirecting our visitors to the contact page, we should actually ask our website visitors to subscribe for our newsletter. To get started with that, I'll close over the Smart Slider window and then open up your home page, but I already have it opened here, so I'll just simply reload that. And from the word go, I'll delete this container. So come here to Navigator, delete the second container. Now, the other things that you can look at, like for example, if you want to make some changes to this text, point and click and make the changes to the text and literally how you want it to appear like. In case also, if you want to make changes to the images, just click on the image, say change image, and apply the image that works best for you. So change that image to that one. Same for other containers. So for instance, this one has a background image. I can come here to style and say change image, and I replace that image with an image that best suits, for instance, this one. Now go straight to this container, which is just below here. Remember that if you click on a certain container in the navigator, it will automatically show you that that container is selected. You can as well go ahead and rename those containers. For example, when I click here on the vertical dots, I can say rename. You can say Cape and Stone Team. So every time you're navigating through your containers, you will know that this is the container about the team. So what I basically wanted to show you is how can we remove these social media icons. When I drop this container, you see that we have the first heading block, and then we have another container which is holding each of these other images and persons, I would say. So that's the first container, second container, and then the third container. Now when we drop the first container, you see that we have an image, we have the name block, and then we have the icon list. So this is the block that is having the social media icons. And of course, when I click add, I can be able to, look up for an icon and add that icon and have it added to this part of the container. So I don't want to do anything like that. So I'm going to delete the icon list. So come over here, delete the icon list. Or I can simply just click straight over here and I see that the icon list is selected, even here in the container. And I go straight and say, boom, delete. Same I will do here and delete. Now I can go ahead and change the roles. Instead of saying banker, tax expert, or overall tax expert, I can say this one is specialized in corporate tax and this one is specialized in inheritance tax. So now that's how I have changed the roles. You can go ahead and select the images and change or replace those images based on what you want to show here. When you are done, just say update. And now when I come here to the home page, I reload. First hero section, which we replaced with the slider, is now deleted and not on our home page. And when we go down below here, you see that we also made a change to this image. And then we have also removed the social media icons. Now let's look at how we can, make changes to this, testimonial section. Back here into our editor on the home page, and I can start by saying add a container, and you see that the next container has been added right below, the testimonials container. So I can choose if I want to have 2 columns, 3 columns, or simply to have any of these other layouts. So for instance, when I select that layout, you see that I have 3 columns and then 2 rows. But if you don't want to do it from scratch like that, we can as well use some features that come with Spectra. I told you Spectra also comes with some pre-built sections or containers that you can easily add on your homepage. So if we come over here to the design library, there's a section for testimonials specifically, and you see that we have these different testimonial layouts that we can add on our homepage. For this case, I think a dark testimonial section would make sense, but let's look into what options we have. I actually think this container or testimonial section looks good and we could use this. So I would say insert, and you see that automatically we have, an info box that has been added, and then we have, a heading and a secondary text, and then reviews. And of course, you can make changes to any of this by changing how many stars the review was, and also the text of the testimonial, which you can easily edit from here, the name of the person or the client who made the testimonial, and all that stuff. Also, you can, if you go to the design library and you choose that you want to see testimonials that are having a light background, when you select that, you automatically see that that has been added. Or you want to see testimonials that have, a dark background with a color. That's how you can easily switch from different layout designs from several other, pre-built containers or sections. So I'll close this over now, and I'll come back here to our testimonial container, and I'll delete this because I don't need it anymore. And now here I'll say update, come back here to our homepage, I'll reload this, and boom, there we go. You see that our testimonial container has been added. But just to match the layout, we could just say either we center our heading just like this heading is centered, and the secondary text, and as well as this. But also you see there are some sections where the heading is left aligned. So it would go back to you, but I think I'll come back here, select my info box. I'll come to content and I'll just say center, and automatically everything now has been centered on this container. So I'll say update, come back here to our homepage, reload, and boom, our subheading, the heading, and the secondary text have been centered. Let's add an opt-in form or newsletter form on this section. When you look at all the pages, so this is the home page. Now let's go to the about page. We have a similar section. Services, we have a similar section, and a contact page, we have a similar section. So it looks like this pattern has been designed in one place and has been made to appear on all other pages on the website. So how do we know that? So when we come here to our home page, let's just open up our navigator. You see that this is called a footer call to action that has been added to the footer section, and it appears all the way through on all other pages that have this block added. Now the question is, how can we add our opt-in form right over here, and we replace this pattern or container on the pages? So back here on our home page, we can select this container and say edit original. Alternatively, you can also come here and say add patterns. Under my patterns, you see that our pattern appears, and you can as well say edit original. It takes me to a screen like this, and here I can make changes to what is appearing in this pattern. So I'll start by editing the heading, join our newsletter, the Cape and Stone Tax Advisors Limited newsletter delivers excellent updates about the tax industry with great weekly tips and tricks. So if someone is interested in learning more about what happens in the tax industry and some tips and tricks, they should subscribe now. But here we want to pick our visitors' email address, and also we add a button where someone is able to actually click and we receive their email address. And to be able to collect our visitors' email address and be able to add them to a list, we have to use a third-party provider. And in this case, I recommend Aweber. So to go to Aweber, you're going to go to gotechug.com/Aweber. Aweber. I recommend that you use the link provided in the description of this video to access Aweber, because I'll be adding a special coupon code or discount for people who use that link added in the description of this video. So once you are here on Aweber, here they are saying run your business, leave the email marketing to us. What they are basically helping you is to first of all collect the email addresses and also start your email marketing journey. And it is highly recommended as a website owner to have a newsletter or to have a list of people that are subscribed to your newsletter, because you actually own this audience and you can always reach out to these people when you need them. So when we look over here in the pricing of Aweber, you realize that they have different plans. They have a free plan that can enable you to collect up to 500 email subscribers. But if you have a list that is bigger than that, you can import that list into Aweber and you are unlimited how many people you can import. And that means that you'll be limited by how many automations you can create, how many emails you'll be sending out monthly. And obviously, if you want the possibility to send out more emails and a little bit more features, then you'll be having to pay for a higher plan. So if you click over here and say get started with Plus, then you're able to fill in your details and your card number. And if you decide to go with a build annually plan, you're going to save 4 months for free. And if you have, like a list that you're importing, let me say a list of 2,500 subscribers, of course that amount is going to change, and here you'll be having to pay about $550 for the entire year. The more your list is growing, let me say you have 35,000 subscribers, then the more amount you're actually going to be paying monthly or even per year. So if you have a list, of course you can import it into Aweber for free, and then you are able to get started. So just come over here and choose the amount of subscribers that you already have, and then you enter in your billing details and then check out. Then I'm going to be seeing you on the other side of Aweber. Once you signed up to Aweber, you'll see a screen that is familiar to this one. What we are really interested in right now is to be able to collect email subscribers or emails from our website visitors. And to do that, we are going to come over here to Pages and Forms, and we say Sign Up Forms. And right here we can say create a sign up form on a landing page or for my website. I'll say for my website. And here they share with you a couple of templates that you can use to create your sign up form. So for instance, there is this layout, and if I say load layout, then it will load over right over here, and then I'm able to start making some changes. So in this case, I'm going to disable the header. So I'll just come over here and say delete the header, and I'll also delete the footer. I'll also delete this powered by Aweber email marketing, delete that. And I'll also delete the name field because I don't want to collect anyone's name. So I'm going to select my button here and come here to the text of that button. And I'll make sure that it is in a sans serif that a bit resembles the Montserrat font that we are using on our website. And here you can go ahead and choose how big, the text will be. So I'll leave it to be 16. The other thing we will look into is to change this word here to a white color, because if it's in black, it won't be very visible on our blue background here. So I'll select the email field and then go to labels, also white, submit button. We are going to change the text color to be our blue color, this one, and then we change the background to actually be a white color. Of course, now so many things are not appearing here because the background is white and the form itself is also white. So I get what your concern could be, but you'll see how it looks like when we add it over here in our container. So I'll come back over here and say, go to step 2. I'll give a name. This name helps you to identify which form is collecting which feedback. So every time we open up our Aweber platform, we will know that this is the form that has helped us to collect this number of subscribers. So I will now say go to step 3, and here it's asking us to save our form. So I'll say save the form, and now I'm going to install this form on my website. So there are two options to actually do this. We can use an HTML text that can be provided by clicking over here, or we can install the Aweber plugin into our WordPress website. And here, instead of choosing the JavaScript snippet, we are going to choose the raw HTML version below here. We shall copy this code and come here to our page, and I'll come over here and then look up for the HTML custom code. I'll paste that, and this is how it previews. So I'll first of all update, then come here to our page, contact page, will reload and see how our opt-in form looks like. And we can make certain tweaks to make sure that everything looks nice and neat. So for instance, the text below here, we want it to be more visible. So back to design, we select this text. We are changing the link text color. Instead of it being blue, we change it to white. And if you really wanted also to make some changes to your submit button, the text for instance, you could just click over here in the button and say save field, go to the next step, and next step, save the form, copy the raw HTML version, that code, come back here to our HTML form and preview. Looks good. Privacy text has changed the color as well. Update to reflect the changes that we implemented. The next thing we are going to do is to disable this feature, this button over here, because we don't need it anymore. So what I'll do is to select our info box, and we have the option called call to action below here. We want to display nothing. So that will make that the button that was here and that is part of the info box, which was redirecting our visitors to the contact page, is now disabled. And now people will only have the option to enter their email and then join our newsletter. So I'm going to say update, come here to our pages. I'll go to the home page, and now you will see that we have an opt-in form and join our newsletter as the options. Go to the about page. You see now it's the same pattern. Go to the services page. You see that's the same pattern, and the same for the contact page right over there. So if we are to test how this form works, so I would just come over here to the email option and enter in my email address. And you realize that my email address is not actually appearing because the text color was made to be white. We have to change that. So back here to the sign up form for inputs. So the normal color is going to be a black color. So I'll say save form, go to the next step, and then we get our code, get our raw HTML code, come here to the opt-in box, remove the old code, paste the new code. And now you see that when someone is typing, the text is visible in black. So I'll update, come here to the contact page, reload, or even any other page. It could be the home page. Now when I enter in my email, you see that the email is now visible. So I'll say join the newsletter. Now this one will send me a confirmation email so that I will confirm my email to be added on this email list. So to do that, I'm now going to go to check my inbox. So this person is requiring me to confirm my subscription. I'll say confirm. Now, when I come back here to Aweber, I'll close these tabs and you come to subscribers. You will see that there is a new subscriber called Kwema at Outlook who just subscribed 1 minute ago on this list. So this is the kind of thing that you want to implement on your website to be able to collect some email subscribers from your website visitors. So the other thing that you would want to do on your website is to add a privacy policy page. It is a must to have a privacy policy page because then it shows how you use the data that you collect from your website visitors on your website. In most countries, especially the European Union, you are required to have a privacy policy page on your website. As you can see, we don't have a privacy policy at the moment. And what we are going to do is one, to go and create that page. So here under pages, we're going to add a new page. and we're going to name this privacy. So you can choose to work with a lawyer or someone who knows legal terms and jargons to help you craft this privacy page. But there are many privacy page generators out there on the internet. So privacy policy generator, and you can choose from all these, providers, which are free privacy policy generators on the internet. In my case, I have used ChatGPT, which is a free AI text generator, to generate for me a privacy policy text, which you can tweak and change to your needs. So here I'm going to come and say, copy the entire text, which has been generated, and come here to my page. And then I'll just paste that text. And you can go now and make the edits. For example, adding your address, your city, your zip code, your email addresses, the phone number. You can add the date when you created this privacy policy or when you last made the edits by simply typing, click type, and make the necessary changes on your privacy policy page. So when you are done, just simply say publish. So as you can see that on our privacy policy, we have a transparent header enabled, and it is overlapping into the text of the privacy policy page. So we are going to disable the transparent header on this page, and back here into the editor. First of all, we are going to choose the container layout or how wide you want your page to be. I'll leave it on normal settings. And then I'm going to come here straight to advanced settings. Under the transparency header options, we are inheriting the transparent header at the moment, but we want to have that disabled. So I'll click that and then return to post, update. Now here I'm going to reload the page, and our page is now visible and the content looks nice and neat. If you want to disable the header of the page, you can come back here to the editor, just click over here in the eye of the page title, update, come back here, reload, and automatically that will be disabled. I want to enable the page title to appear for this page. So I'll come back here and enable that page title. Now, how do we add this page to appear in the footer of our website? That will take us back to being able to create a menu and navigation on our website. To create a navigation on our website or a menu, you come here to appearance and then go to menus. And here we're going to say create a new menu, and we're going to say footer menu. And then we're going to say create menu, but we can choose the location of this footer or this menu. So it's going to be a footer menu. So I'm going to view all the pages that I can add on the menu. So I'm going to start with the contact, then privacy policy, and maybe the about page. So I'll say add. So I want my privacy policy page to come first. And now I'll save this. If now I come back here to my page or any of the pages, so I'll go to home page and I scroll down in the footer, you realize that we have the footer menu appearing, the one we just created under appearance. So when I click about page, it opens up. When I click privacy policy page, it does open up. Now, if you wanted to have a different footer in the menu, you could still come over here and then configure your menu from here and say, for example, under footer menu, you can choose from the different menus that you have created in your menus area under appearances. And now we have added a secondary navigation to our website. Now back here into our pages area, here our website has all the pages that have been published listed. Let's go to the about page. There are several blogs, containers that are appearing on the about page. And in the case that you want to make changes to this page or any other page, just click over here, edit page, or come to the pages area and come to that specific page about and say edit. So I'll just go back here and say edit. And here is our about page, just like it was generated using ZipWP. You can make changes to the text and everything that is added right over here. You can come over here to the navigator and navigate through the different containers that have been added, and you are free to add or delete a container from the about page and any other page. But specifically in this part of our tutorial, I want to talk about how to create blog posts on the website. So I'm going to exit this, I'll leave, and just go here to the home. When you come over here in the navigation and click on blog, you see that there is a list of blog posts that have already been published on the website. And if I click on any of the blog posts, they open up into a single post with titles and also the previous posts that have been already created. The question is, how do you create a blog post? To do that, we are going to come back here to our dashboard, but now not under pages. We will go to posts, and you see it lists all the posts that have been created on the website. We can say add a new post, and here we can type the title of the post and then add the content of the post. I have now added the title of the post, and I'll now paste the content that is going to appear in the post. When you are typing content or adding content, you can simply just add a paragraph block and then type out that content. But as well, you can say delete. You can format certain sections of the content. For instance, if I want to highlight this content, select that block, come here to the block option. There is background option and say, we want it to be a highlight. You can add a block quote by, for instance, coming here to the blocks and look up for the block quote like this. Add it onto your content. Inside our block quote, I can add that text and then add a citation. You can go ahead and add like images, add an image. So add a new block. It's going to be image block. I'll go into the media library and choose an image that I want to add into my blog post. So for instance, this image. So if you want to add like a link, you can select the text. So for instance, this text, I can select it and say add a link, and then you can link to another page on the website, or basically you can link to something that is not on your website. So for instance, this can be a different company and you want to link to that company and say riverstonetax.com. And that is like their website, and that's it. You've now linked to that website, but you also want to make sure that this link actually opens up in a new tab. So I can say open that in a new tab, and that's all. So you can go ahead and add many things right here in the blog posts. But one of the things that you don't want to miss out is the post URL. So this is the URL, and you want to make sure that this URL is a readable URL before you even publish. So I'm going to save as a draft. I'll reload, and I want to come back here and make sure that this URL is a readable URL. You want to make sure that before you publish the blog post that you are comfortable with how the URL appears right over there. Other part is adding categories. So still under post, you can choose which category. So it can be a new category or an existing category. So I can say tax news could be a category. It has no parent, and I can add this blog post to different categories, or even one or more categories. So this is, for instance, now put under the category section called tax news. You can as well add a featured image. So this would be the featured image, and this is the image that appears right before someone opens up the blog post. There are a lot more things like enabling comments and pingbacks, but those are not so vital. These are the most vital things: the featured image, the permalink, and making sure that the content is looking nice and neat. So you can have different users on your website, and if that person is logged in, they will automatically be selected as the author. But if they are not the author, then you may want to choose or change the author of the article. That can be done by adding several other authors of the website. So by coming over here to dashboard, you come here to users, all users, and you can add several different other authors of the website. So in this case, here I'm using a generic name, but I can come over here and edit how my name looks like. So I've now changed the name, and I'm going to display my name publicly as this name. I can add a short biography about me and also link a profile picture, but that's not so vital. All what is needed is to make sure that you have a profile name and you want to display it in a certain way, and you're good to go. So I'll save and update the profile. Now you see that we have a different name appearing right over here on my user profile. Now when I come here to the blog post, I'm going to just save as a draft, and I reload this. just to make sure I don't miss out anything. And you realize that the author name has changed automatically at the moment because I'm the user who is logged in and I want to appear as the author of this article. So here I'll say publish and publish. Now by mere publishing that article, it will appear on my website, first of all, with the article title that we added and the author, the date of publication, and automatically the featured image that we chose. And you can see that we added another image right inside our content, highlighted part of the content, linked to some parts of our content, and also linked outside our content. Now, the question is, how do you decide what appears where? For example, the title and how the thumbnail either comes before the title or after the title. That can be done under the blog post layout in the customizer of Astra. To do that, you're going to come over here to the dashboard, come to Appearance, Customize. Under the blog section, we have the single post, and this is where the magic happens. So when I open up the single post here, you realize that we have a narrow layout. If I make it to be a normal layout, you see that it turns out to be a bigger layout. I'll keep it to be a narrow layout. And then we can have it as a box style, unbox style, or default style. And then we can choose to have a sidebar or no. Sidebar is what will appear right on the side of the article. And then the other things that you want to make sure that are showing up, for example, the related posts, which is down below here. It is the related post section. And then the comments option, where someone is able to enter a comment on the website. Then the other thing that you want to check out is the post title area. So this is where you want to make sure that either you have a banner or without a banner. So for instance, when I choose this layout 2, you see how this appears. And if I choose layout 1, you see it appears also in a different format. The structure is that we are having the title coming first, then the meta description and the featured image. If I choose the featured image to come first, you realize that now we have the featured image first, the title, and then the name of the author. We can also choose what is shown as the meta. So for instance, here we can choose to have the author name, the date. We can choose to show how many comments have been left on this blog post and some taxonomies. We don't want to activate that. We'll just leave it as it is. And as well, we want to use a divider here between the name and the date. You can choose to have this dash format. As well, you can choose to have a pipe, but I'll leave it to be as a /. That's how you can go on regarding how your content is appearing on the single blog post layout. So as you can see on the related post section, you realize that we have our text aligned on the left with a title called related posts. You can say more posts, and then it will show us more posts. And then you want to show the number of posts in the related section, just 2 posts. And here it is showing that you want to have 2 columns. If you choose 1 column, it will happen or look like this. If you want to have 3 columns, it will show you that it will actually show 3 posts right here in the related post section. I'll leave them as 2 columns. And then the post query, you can query by category or by date. For instance, you can say by the post title, the post order, or random. And that means that based on the query that you set here, that's how the post will be showing up right over there. That's how you can set up your single post template and how to write blog posts in WordPress. In case you want to make changes how your blog archive looks like, so here to the blog archives page, you can just go ahead and make the same similar styles. So for instance, here under the layout, you can choose to have a list instead of a grid. So that's how it looks like. You can choose to have a cover, which I don't like how it appears. So I'll just go back here to the grid. And then you can decide to show how many posts per page. It can be 5 posts per page. And for now, it is set to be 10 posts per page. You can choose what appears as a preview for each individual post. So for instance, here you can choose to show the featured image, which is coming first, then the post title, then the post meta, post excerpt, and the read more post. And you can also choose to show the categories. This is basically to create up this card for each individual post. That's all for now on how you can as well make changes to your blog archive page template. Just like everything has been already created for you with ZipWP, all you have to do is to customize it to have the look and feel of how you want it to be. Once you are done, don't forget to publish the changes. And now when we go here to our front page, click here on the house icon, go to the blog page. That's how our blog archive page looks like. Let's open up our blog posts. You see that now we changed our title to come second and the thumbnail coming first. The author name was changed and added a new blog post to our website. In a nutshell, that's how you can get started writing and publishing content on your WordPress website. In this part of our video, we are going to check out our contact form, which is on the contact page, and make sure that it will be able to send through the emails when someone actually fills in this contact form and sends an email. We will also have to make sure that all the other icons and buttons work as they should. As I'm already at the contact page, all I have to do is say edit the page, and this will take me inside the editor. The number one thing that I want to check on this contact form is if someone writes and sends an email using this contact form, where are those submissions going? So I'll come here to the navigator and make sure that I have my contact form selected or the form. We have different inputs. We have the name input, email input, and the text area input. But the most important one is this button over here. We want to make sure that when someone clicks on this button, that the email is sent straight to an email that we have access to. So by clicking over here on this button, we have the option to scroll down below here under the general settings, and we have the option called submit button. Here we can change the style of the button. We can align it left, right, center, or with a full width, but we are more interested in the actions. And here under the action, we want that when someone sends an email, that email is sent to this email address which we have access to. I always change the subject so that it can reflect where the email is coming from when it appears in my inbox. So I'll say email from Cape and Stone website. This gives me an idea that someone actually used this form to send me an email. For now, that's all. But if you want to enable protection of your forms so that they are not abused by bots, and also to limit the amount of spam, you can enable the reCAPTCHA, and you can set that up pretty easily and you are good to go. The other thing that we have to check right here are these icons and where are they redirecting our website visitors. You see that ZipWP added these icons, but they are not linking to anywhere. If you want to keep those icons or link them to anywhere, you can proceed. For instance, I want to delete the YouTube icon. I also want to delete the LinkedIn icon. So I'll only stay with the Twitter and Instagram icons. And here I can click on the icon and then paste a URL to a Facebook page. So this could be the page on Facebook. So better that you go to Facebook and copy the page URL and add it here. Same for Twitter. So it could be x.com/Cape&Stone. And same for Instagram. And you can choose that these all open in a new tab. So select the icon and make sure that you enable that they open in a new tab. You also have to check through and make sure that the emails and the address that are listed here on the contact page are the actual contact details that you want to appear right there. Still on the contact page, you can go ahead and decide to add a map. So for instance, when I come here to the outline, and here I will add a block, which is a map, go maps. And here inside the map, I can add the address of the Cape and Stone, business. So I'll just copy my address, come here to the navigator, make sure that I select my Google Maps, and then come over here to the address option and then paste that address. This marker will be pointing to that exact address where your business is located. You can choose to reposition this container. So for instance, I can put it just after our contact form. You can go ahead and customize whether it's more zoomed in or even the height of the map. You can change the language to a language that you prefer. You can enable a satellite view over right here. For now, I'm going to delete the Google Maps widget. but I hope you get an idea on if you wanted to add a map widget to your contact page. I'll update. Now I'm going to go to the page and everything should be working nice and neat. Make sure that you test and send out this contact form and make sure that it is sending to the email address which you added in the actions area. Now, when we go to the home page, we want to make sure that all the buttons lead the website visitor to the destination that we want. So that is the first one, and then read the guide. It should take the website visitor to the guide. So then the third slide, this should take the website visitor to the services. These are the services. And the last thing that I see right over here is that here in the header, we have some icons, and when someone clicks those icons, they are not taking them anywhere. What we are going to do is now come back here to the customizer under dashboard, appearance, customize. Let's go straight to the header builder because those icons are part of the header. And you see that we have these icons here in this widget called social media. And here we can go ahead as well and add the URLs to those social media accounts. You can choose an icon for that social media account that you added. Same for Facebook. So now I have updated the URLs to the different social media accounts. Once you are done making those changes and you're happy, you can just simply say publish and now exit the customizer. Let's go to the home. And now you see that once someone clicks any of these icons, they will be redirected to the social media platform. And that's all it for testing that all the buttons, the forms and submissions work as they should on the website that you just created using ZipWP. Before you launch your website, there are a couple of things that you have to check, about 5 things. And these are the things that I'm going to be taking you through in this part of the video. First, we are going to go back to our website dashboard and we are going to go straight to the settings, and under general settings, we can see that we should have a website title. We should have a website tagline, just like I have already explained to you earlier in the video. We should have a site icon, which I showed you how to create and add to your website. And you should make sure that your website is in the proper site language. You should also make sure that you have the right time zone, or you can choose from the already predefined locations right here in the drop down. So in this case, I'll select London. You can choose a custom time format and a date format for your WordPress website. Save changes. Next, you want to make sure that you set up the reading settings. Make sure that you have a static page, which is pointing to the home page, and the post page should be pointing to the blog post page. And if you want that your website can be crawled and indexed by the search engines, or that your website visitors can access it through the search engine, then you want to make sure that this option is enabled. And that means that the search engines can read and index your website. So for instance, someone can find your website in Google. Make sure that you save the changes. Under permalinks, you want to make sure that you set the post name as the permalink structure of your website. This post structure is good for your website visitors as well as for SEO. The other thing that we have to set up is the privacy. And here we're going to select our privacy policy page that we already created and say use this page. By this point, I want to mention that you are able to take your website live, and that means sharing your website link with your family, friends, and clients. But before you do that, just make sure that you have a backup of your website because anything can go wrong at any time. So when we come back here to plugins, you see that we have our WPvivid plugin already installed. So I'll just come here on the menu, go to WPvivid, and the backup you see here is the backup that we got from ZipWP. We don't need this backup anymore here because we have already used and made changes to the files. Now what I'm going to do is to say back up the file, and this means that we will be backing up the recent version of our website on the server. You can go ahead and download this backup on your computer and save it in a safe place. But you still don't have even to worry about this because Hostinger does also the hard work for you of saving these backups for your website. In case anything happens, you can always reach out to them and ask them to restore your website to a previous version. But it is better to be safe than sorry. That's why I always recommend clients to download a local version of their backup of their website. At this point of the video, I want to say congratulations for building your first WordPress website without any previous technical skills. But I also want to mention that this is just the start. There are a lot more things that you'll be learning, and I invite you to be joining my community on this YouTube channel to be able to see more new WordPress tutorials and updates, where I always share some tips and tricks, including tutorials like this on how you can have your website work for you. So if you're really interested, just make sure that you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so that when I release a video, you'll be able to see that video. But also make sure that you check out the links in the description of this video, because in some of those links, I share with you some special discount links and coupons that you can use to get a discount when you're purchasing any of the services that I recommend in this video. If you have any questions, please make sure that you let me know in the comments of the video. I'll be happy to respond to that. Thank you so much for watching, and I wait to see you in the next video.